absolutely love this book. Okay, there's a lot of torture in it, traumatic experiences in it, and it is the Victorian era, and we know that people who lived in poverty during that time and children that were orphaned during that time had an awful time. There was the workhouses, and they were treated cruelly, and then there was the upper class, and the upper class really didn't care what was happening to the lower class, or the poverty. People living in poverty, children living in poverty. So, Ruth in this book and the girls that work with her in the seamstress shop go through a traumatic time. So there is a warning here because there is a baby that gets sick. Now, she does get sick and dies. And there is a person who commits suicide. The most disturbing one was the girl. There was one girl that was killed, and the other ones seem to go by me. Like, of course you feel bad, but they seem just part of the story. The one girl that died, I had a little hard time with it. It kind of made me a little sick. But so you have to watch out for that if that's going to bother you. I kind of took it in stride, as this is Victorian age, and we all know that the suffering of the poor and the children on the streets was really bad. Ruth believes that she has powers through her sewing. She sits and she embroiders, and she gets very lost in her feelings and thoughts because embroidery comes very easily to her, automatic. And then she finds, by, is it coincidence or is she really doing it, that if she was angry and she made something, that person tended to get sick or have something happen. So she started to feel like her embroidery, her feelings behind it, was starting to affect people. Looking for attention. He's probably looking for canned kitty food, aren't you? You looking for canned kitty food. So there is the fact of, does she have some sort of power? Or is it just all coincidence? Now, the other lady in this book, Dorothea, she is a lady of the upper class, and she lives with her father, and her mother has died, and her father is about to marry somebody that she does not like at all. She is in love with a police officer. Okay, that's not a good thing. She's upper class. That means she has to marry within her status. That means she cannot let her father go, and let her father know, and she's trying to make plans on how her and her police officer boyfriend can be together, because this will do someone in the upper class who marries beneath themselves is not a good thing. There's a mystery there behind her mother's death, and what her father does. Yeah, I try not to give things away. Dottie has an interest, and I can't say the word. So she believes that our heads are shaped in a certain way that can predetermine what we will do. So she goes to the jails and she tries to help out the conditions of people in the prisons. And she meets Ruth, and she wants to feel people's heads because she wants to see if there's areas that are larger than the others or protruding more than other areas of the skull, to predetermine whether they were going to be murderers or do things wrong in life or not. Anyway, she meets Ruth. Yes, in jail. And Ruth starts to tell her story, and Dottie's very taken and gets very wrapped up in her story and whether she should believe her or not, whether it's the truth. and whether Ruth is really guilty or not. Anyways, it's really very interesting, and I was extremely caught up in it and could not put this book down. So it is kind of like gothic, dark, fantasy, gothic, Victorian era. And one of the things that somebody mentioned was Ruth is very poor and she didn't have any control over her circumstances, and she got working as a seamstress and very, you know, unable to control the happenings in her life due to poverty. Now Dottie, she does fight against it. She's determined. She's not married yet. She's not going to get married. She doesn't want to. She's going to work in the science field that she wants to, which goes against, you know, her class, the upper class, which can cause problems. And people stop hanging around with you because they think you're weird. They stop inviting you, and you start to lose your status. She's not married yet. She's 25, which, as we know, in the Victorian era time, that was wrong. You know, there'd be old spinsters, and it'd be embarrassing to her father. She's not married. And her visiting the jails, her going to the prisons and visiting with prisoners and having an interest in science. All these things are against her for the Victorian age that she lives in. I felt like a woman reading a mystery novel with every fourth line missing. I've had that thought before. Not reading a mystery novel, just a book. And I've often thought with a page missing. You know, or pages missing. Yes, I've had that exact thought before in my life for many years. I'm trying to eat my apple. Oh, there's Bear. My apple. And Mummy's apple. You send a video to Cambria? Huh? Should we send a video to Cambria? Huh? Are you guys trying to mooch my apple? What are you whining about? What are you whining about? Huh? Baron's like, hey, where's mine? Hang on. I don't even think he likes it. He just eats it because she is and I do. See? He doesn't even want it. He really doesn't want it. He's just eating it because we do. It's so silly. She might get a haircut Friday. Was that good, Baron? Tastes like chicken? Baron, tastes like chicken?
Call when I knew, I figured out she was going to call. Like, if my hand was all red, right? And I knew she was fucking, I just knew she was going to call spades. It's hard to explain. Do you know what I mean? And I knew, I just knew. I would go like this, spades, or I'd even say spades alone. And she would fucking look right at me, Fluffy, right? Do you know what I mean? And and especially if you go alone, right? I'd say, look, right? I'd say, that's her card, that's my card, and that's her partner's card. Right? And I would say, let me see your cards. I'd say, flip that fucking shit out. Right? Over and over and over again. Right? I said, I'd rather fucking lose 2 points to her, right?
No, he stopped. Yeah, crazy cat. No, he's not gonna do it now. No. Oh, maybe. Nope. That's funny.
So I showed him, I said, how can somebody make that, a hand like that, over and over and over?